What if I told you you are not as independent as you think? That your decisions, your opinions, even your preferences are being quietly influenced every single day, not by magic, not by hypnosis, but by psychological triggers your brain can't resist. Think about it. Why do certain people walk into a room and instantly command respect? Why do some salesmen make you buy things you didn't even plan to purchase? Why do certain influencers feel powerful, even when they don't say much? It's not luck, it's not confidence. It's not even intelligence, it's psychological leverage. And today I'm going to break down 5 triggers that control human behavior at a subconscious level. Not theory, not self-help fluff. Real, battle-tested psychological mechanisms used in business, dating, politics, and power dynamics across America. But here's the warning. Once you see these triggers, you won't unsee them. You'll start noticing how often people use them on you. And more importantly, you'll know how to use them yourself, ethically, strategically, and intelligently. Because in the United States, in corporate offices, social circles, dating markets, and online influence, perception is power. And power belongs to the person who understands the mind. Let's start with the first trigger, the one that makes people follow without realizing they're following. The authority effect. Let's start with the most powerful trigger of all. Authority. Human beings are wired to follow perceived authority. Not actual authority, perceived authority. Back in the 1960s, a psychologist named Stanley Milgram ran an experiment at Yale University. Ordinary Americans were told to press a button that would supposedly deliver electric shocks to another person. The shocks weren't real, but the participants believed they were. And here's the disturbing part. Most people continued pressing the button, even when they thought the other person was in serious pain. Why? Because a man in a lab coat calmly told them to continue. That's it. Authority doesn't need force, it needs signals, a suit, a confident tone, a title, a verified badge, a large following, a corner office, a podcast microphone. In modern America, authority signals are everywhere. Think about corporate America. 2 people present the exact same idea in a boardroom. One is a junior employee. The other is a senior executive with 20 years of experience. Same idea, different authority perception. One gets ignored, one gets praised. Nothing changed except the signal. Now think about social media. A fitness coach with 50 followers gives advice. A fitness coach with 500,000 followers gives the exact same advice. Which one feels more trustworthy? Your brain doesn't evaluate content first. It evaluates hierarchy. That's evolutionary. For thousands of years, following authority increased survival. But today, it makes you predictable. And if you understand this trigger, you can do 2 things. Protect yourself from blind obedience. Position yourself as the authority in any room. Here's how people weaponize it. They speak slower. They use fewer words. They don't over-explain. They don't seek approval. They assume credibility. Authority is not loud. It is calm certainty. If you want to increase influence in the US market, in business, dating, networking, stop trying to be liked. Start signaling authority. Because people don't follow the most emotional person. They follow the one who appears in control. And this is just the first trigger. The second one is even more dangerous, because it doesn't make people obey, it makes them chase. Trigger 2, scarcity and the psychological chase effect. Now let's talk about the trigger that makes people obsess. Scarcity. The moment something feels limited, its perceived value rises. Not because it changed, but because access changed. Think about Black Friday in America. Stores like Walmart or Best Buy don't just discount products. They add urgency. Only 3 left. Limited stock. Deal ends in 2 hours. Same TV, same price, different framing, and suddenly people are fighting over it. Why? Because the human brain equates scarcity with importance. If it's rare, it must matter. Now let's move this into real life. Dating. The person who replies instantly, always available, always saying yes, feels safe, but not exciting. The person who is selective with their time, who doesn't overexpose themselves, who has standards, feels valuable. Scarcity creates perceived status. Now think about social dynamics in the US. Why do celebrities feel powerful? Why does exclusivity drive hype around brands? Why do limited sneaker drops sell out in seconds? It's not just the product, it's the chase. When access feels uncertain, dopamine spikes. Your brain goes into pursuit mode. This is called the psychological reactance effect. When people feel like something might be taken away, they want it more, even if they didn't care before. And here's where it gets dangerous. Manipulators create artificial scarcity. They pull away strategically. They delay responses. They make you feel like you might lose access. And your brain fills in the rest. You chase, you overinvest, you value them more than they deserve. But here's the intelligent move. You don't fake scarcity. You build real scarcity, have goals, have a schedule, have boundaries, have options. When your time is genuinely limited, people feel it. And they respond differently. Scarcity isn't about being cold. It's about not being overly available. Because in America's hyper-connected culture, attention is cheap. Availability is everywhere. But exclusivity, that's power. And now we move to a trigger that operates even deeper. This one doesn't just make people obey or chase, it makes them feel obligated. Trigger 3, reciprocity and psychological debt. Now we move into a trigger that feels positive, but can quietly control behavior. Reciprocity. If someone gives you something, you feel pressure to give something back. Even if you didn't ask for it, even if you didn't want it. That's not kindness, that's psychology. In 1974, psychologist Robert Cialdini studied how small, unsolicited favors increased compliance. Waiters who left a mint with the bill received higher tips. Waiters who left 2 mints, even higher tips. Nothing about the food changed. The bill didn't change. The service didn't change. But a small gift created psychological debt. Now scale that to modern America. Free trials, free samples at stores, free ebooks, free value on YouTube. You think it's generosity, but your brain logs it as, they gave me something. And when that same person asks you to subscribe, to buy, to commit, it feels harder to say no, because humans hate feeling unbalanced. We want emotional equilibrium. Now take this into social dynamics. Someone helps you move apartments, pays for your coffee, gives you advice, compliments you in public. Without realizing it, you now feel subtly obligated, and skilled influencers understand this deeply. They provide massive upfront value, not because they're saints, but because once you've received enough, you're psychologically primed to respond. This trigger is extremely powerful in networking and business. Want someone important to notice you? Don't ask for help immediately, provide value first. Connect them, solve something small, offer insight, make their life easier. Now when you ask, it's no longer a cold request. It's reciprocity in motion. But here's the dark side. Manipulators overgive early, love bombing, excessive generosity, fast emotional investment. They flood you with attention, so when they withdraw it later, you chase to restore balance. That's psychological debt weaponized. The intelligent move: give strategically, receive consciously, and never confuse generosity with obligation. Because the next trigger doesn't make people feel obligated. It makes them justify staying even when they shouldn't. Trigger 4 and 5. Commitment bias plus social proof. Now we move into the final 2 triggers. These are the ones that keep people stuck, even when logic says they should walk away. Trigger 4. Commitment and consistency bias. Human beings crave consistency. Once we publicly commit to something, we feel internal pressure to stay aligned with that commitment, even if it hurts us, even if it stops making sense. This was demonstrated in classic research by Festinger, who introduced the idea of cognitive dissonance. When your actions and beliefs don't match, your brain feels tension. And instead of changing behavior, most people change their reasoning. Example, in the US workplace, you accept a job offer. You tell your family, you post about it on LinkedIn. 2 months later, you realize it's toxic, but leaving would mean admitting you were wrong, so instead you justify staying. That's just how corporate culture is. It'll get better. I just need to tough it out. That's commitment bias. Now think about relationships. You've invested time, money, energy, emotions. Even if the relationship is draining, you stay. Because leaving would mean admitting the investment was misplaced. And humans hate feeling like they wasted effort. Smart influencers use this ethically. They get small commitments first. Subscribe, comment, download, join the email list. Tiny yes, then another yes, then a bigger yes. Each step builds psychological consistency. Before you know it, you're aligned with them, not because they forced you, but because you chose repeatedly, and your brain wants to stay congruent. Now let's combine that with the final trigger. Trigger 5. Social proof. Humans look to others to decide what's correct, especially in uncertainty. If everyone else believes something, your brain assumes it must be right. This is why 5-star reviews matter. Why packed restaurants feel better than empty ones. Why viral videos explode. In crowded American markets, business, dating, influence, perception of popularity equals perceived value. You don't just evaluate the message. You evaluate how many others agree. Followers, testimonials, engagement, crowds. Your brain asks, if everyone else trusts this, should I too? That's social proof. And it's everywhere: politics, marketing, online culture, status hierarchies. But here's the deeper layer. Social proof reduces risk. Your brain wants safety, and if others are already doing it, it feels safer to follow. Now here's the dangerous combination: authority, scarcity, reciprocity, commitment, social proof. Stack them together and you can move crowds, or you can protect yourself from being moved. That's the difference between being manipulated and understanding influence. Because in modern America, attention is currency, perception is leverage, and psychology is power. But here's the final truth. These triggers aren't evil. They're tools. Used unconsciously, they control you. Used consciously, they elevate you. So the real question isn't, do these triggers work? They do. The real question is, will you stay unaware, or will you start playing the game at a higher level? If you found this valuable, subscribe. Because the next video will go even deeper into the psychological weaknesses most people never realize they have. And once you see them, you can't unsee them.